Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Paja, and I'm part of the new business department here at NFI Solutions. And we have a lot of wonderful things to show you, but to ensure you get the most of this webinar, both of our cameras will be turned off. Alan, we're excited to have you here because this is a topic that impacts just about every agent working with annuities right now, and that's the submission process. For many agents, it's not the product that's slowing things down, but more often how the application goes. So that's the not in order issues, missing information, back and forth with carriers, and delays in just getting your business issued. All of that adds up and ultimately affects how quickly you can move business through and get it placed. So today's session is really just about simplifying that. We're going to walk through how you can create a cleaner, more efficient submission using Firelight. So you can spend less time fixing applications and more time getting business submitted. So joining us today is Mitchell Muller. He's the Vice President of Strategic Account Management for Distribution at Hexure. That's the company behind Firelight. And Mitchell works closely with agencies and distribution partners across the industry, helping them streamline the workflows, reducing the not good rates, and create more consistency in how business is submitted and processed. And today's session, he's going to walk us through the full Firelight workflow, the new user interface that they have, as well as some best practices that you can adopt in your own businesses. So as we go, feel free to drop your questions in the chat, and we'll make sure to leave time at the end for our Q&A. And with that, Mitchell, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you very much, Paja. As you can see on the screen here, I've got a short PowerPoint presentation to go over some things that are happening with Firelight and the advantages of utilizing an e-application process in general, comparisons of what are NIGO rates and what are some of the more common NIGOs that are happening, and why we encourage just to use a electronic application for your annuity workflows. After the first few slides, I will actually do a live demonstration utilizing the NFI Solutions Firelight instance. I have a pre-filled application to show you the different fields and the different navigation buttons on the application. And then I'll follow that up by showing you the new user interface that is soon to come for NFI Solutions, a new design and new view. And I'll top it off with a quick demonstration of what are some of the new items that are coming from Hexure as Firelight enhancements. So I'll kick it off, and on this presentation, here's just a simple slide talking about what are some of the amount of hours saved by transforming your process from paper to electronic applications. And this is what why you guys implemented and set up Firelight in the first place, and why all of the carriers, if you guys are going to the carrier instances, why are they doing what they're doing? It's to save an enormous amount of time, decrease the amount of efforts that you guys have on an application, and make sure that you're getting paid faster. So, some of the reasons why people are moving from paper app to e-app is a lot of it is just to do with the ease of having a interface and a step-by-step guide on filling out every piece of the application exactly the way that the carrier wants it. As everyone knows, each carrier has their own line of questions, their own way of designing their application process, and it's simple and nice to have that one instance through NFI Solutions where every carrier is all centralized on one platform. You don't have to go website to website, carrier to carrier, and you can really access all the information you need and make sure that when this application does hit the carrier, that it's not going to be not in good order. Going on to the next one. I'm going to cover some pieces. So there's two different types of application types on Firelight. One we call a wizard-based application, and another is a forms-based application. Forms-based application is going to be very similar to a fillable PDF, and a wizard just has a easier use, easier design, just more modern look and feel for there to be less mistakes. Some of the more common NIGOs is when it comes to replacements. 65% of life and annuity NIGOs are due to replacements. Licensing gaps, payment errors, all pretty common as well. And sometimes there's just missing paperwork, missing signatures on a paper app, hence why the Firelight workflow is so useful. Now I'm going to pull up a situation for you guys. This is going to be your guys' instance of Firelight. Let me take a second to pull it up. As you guys log in, many of you may already have this link in this view saved to your bookmarks. If not, we do recommend that you add it to your favorites somewhere or utilize the NFI Solutions website to grab this link. And each one of your agents, each one of you as an individual, has an email and a password to log in. And when you do log in, that's more to come. This is the screen that you land on. You'll have these navigation buttons, application or needs determination for FNG specifically, and then a way for you to manage all of your activities that you've done within Firelight. If you ever get stuck and maybe you've entered the wrong password or you forgot your password, utilize this forgot password button. And if you have incorrectly guessed your password more than 3 times, we ask that you reach out to somebody internally at NFI Solutions for them to unlock your account. Okay, so giving a quick tutorial of the home screen for your guys' Firelight, we have a navigation bar up in the top right corner. We have the home page. We have a drop down for new activity where you can select application or needs termination. You have your all activities button, which coincides here. And you have your preferences section. We recommend that each agent fills out their preferences section there's going to be a lot of pieces that autofill into each carrier's application based off what you have entered in here. If you don't have anything entered in here, it just doesn't autofill. So for ease of use, it's a nice to have. You can fill out your first name, last name, your CRD number, your NPN, your last 4 of your social, zip code, whether you have a preferred jurisdiction, a certain state. All that will fill in for you guys automatically when you do go to start an application. Now, showing a workflow for when you guys do know what product you are looking to apply for, and you hit that application button, the first thing it's going to ask for is to select what state is this application going to be written in. We have the full list of every state. I'm going to select Minnesota, and then you have 2 additional drop downs to narrow down your search. We can select, and this is what's going to be unique to the NFI Solutions instance, is instead of there only being one carrier to select from, you guys have the full list of carriers that NFI has contracts with, from the Standard, National Life Group, Mass Mutual Ascend, Lincoln, F&G, Equitrust, American Equity, the full list, and all of their products are on there. And anytime they do come out with a new product, NFI Solutions adds them. So as you can see, as I go through each of these carriers, we have all of their products that we can choose from. Also, their product type, just to make it easy. Now, in some instances, as you guys can see, there is a needs determination button here. And you may be thinking, well, what is that for? Now, this is only going to be for a very specific set of products with a very specific set of carriers, specifically FNG's life products. So Everlast, Path Setter, and Trail Setter, if you come across a situation where you're looking to write that, you'll want to start the application process in that needs determination button for these three products. And once you've completed the needs determination, that will prompt you to going into the application and filling out the rest of the information. I'll cover this All Activities tab. As you can see here on the left, we do have a section here for any of your recent activities. If any application has already been completed and sent to the carrier, it will signify that here in the status. It will tell you complete. If you have some data to continue to fill out, it will let you know the application is still in data entry. Now, this is just showing the most recent, maybe 15. It will show a handful of pages, but you can also go into all activities and really get a full view of with filters and by quarter, by month, by week, getting a much more in-depth view of some of the activities that you guys have done, applications. And as you can see here, there's different buttons here. If you've got an application that you just want cleared off of your recent activities list, you have the ability to delete it. Maybe you have a client who decided they wanted to go through with a different product, or maybe there's an instance where you've filled out some wrong details on the electronic app and you want to just start fresh, delete the old one. Maybe you can even copy if you're going to create a new product. You can copy over all the information, and maybe it's just a couple small changes like, hey, I'm gonna write two policies, one for a husband and one for a wife, and all the information is the same with the exception of the policy owner and the beneficiary. So you can copy over all the application data and just have two activities like that. Now, I did create an example application here. I've completely filled out, and I'm going to show everyone the signing ceremony, what that looks like, as well as the navigation abilities within the app itself. So I do have this completely filled out, and it's giving me this message: data entry has met the requirements. I can continue to proceed to the next step, which would be signatures here. Looking at this very first page, this drop down right here in the top left corner is going to give you a full list of every field, every page of the application that needs to be filled out. And I'll just show one example here. If I was to be missing my last name here, you see that field filled red, and I hit this drop down again, it's going to tell me, hey, there is a missing piece of required information on the application that we need. So very helpful navigation wise, just to make sure that every box is checked. And there we go. Now it looks like we're good. Now, most applications are going to start with a basic information gathering about the agent. Their first name, last name, their agent ID, license number, and their national producer number. There is a search here on many of the carrier apps for you to do a search of your NPN. And that's where it's helpful to have your preferences section filled out for these numbers, just so it's autofilling. Now, as you go through the application, something to note is there will be instances where you fill out a certain field that is dynamic to open up another additional field, sometimes earlier on in the application. So something that I fill out in beneficiary information one or purchase payment and feature selection may have an impact on a different section within the application itself. So as you go through each page, and I go to each next page, it's good to have a best practice to check this downward bar and just to see, okay, did that impact anything? Do I need to fill out any more information? Now I'm going to go and hit this. Once you're done with all data entry, this button in the top right corner will become available for you to select, and you can continue to the signature signing ceremony. I'll show you guys what that looks like. Now, because I'm in a test environment, I can fully collect signatures and do everything. It's not going to get sent to the carrier. As you can see, it showed me the steps of who needs to sign. The owner of the policy, I'm going to say signs first. Agent signing first. Now, if these don't match to what you've previously filled out on the app, that might have to be double checked down the road. You can see, here's the full application in paper format. Read all that. Go through that. So it does make me review all pages of the application for me to continue. Okay. There we go. Now I'm on the consumer profile. Good here. Now this just requires initialing. And now the same thing for the rest of the application. This one is a little bit easier. There's just a checkbox saying that, hey, I have reviewed it. And here's the full signature process right here. Okay, so that's complete. There you go. And then, so these are, it'll tell you, what signatures have been completed. The owner of the annuity, the account holder. Now, in this example, I'm the owner, I'm the agent, and the annuitant. Same type of deal here. Just click through. I'll wait for that to load. Now that it's all been finalized, it's going to give you one last check to see, check any of the fields, make sure that you feel comfortable and ready to send it to NFI Solutions for review. This application will be submitted. No further edits will be allowed. So it's important to go in and make all of your changes before you send it to be ready for the carrier. Now, you guys do have a secondary stop for when you guys finish an application and collect signatures. You guys have the capability to have a second review, a full review from a case manager or any of your support staff at NFI Solutions, just to ensure that, hey, this application is filled out 100% correct and it's ready to be submitted to the carrier. And that's another very major benefit. A great benefit of having your own instance. NFI Solutions has set this up for you guys to ensure that you're not going to have any mistakes and have far less NIGOs than if you were doing it yourself on the carrier's instance. As you can see, this is a completely finished app. At this point, I can go back to the home page. I can log off. There is this messages up here in the top right corner that just showed up, just talking about, hey, this case has been added to the review queue, and this is the date and time that it was sent. And yeah, let's pause right there. If there is any questions, I'll field them. Otherwise, what I'm going to go to next, coinciding with the PowerPoint, is I would like to show you guys the new user interface.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions that I've collected. So,
Yep.
A lot of agents are more familiar with writing paper apps than they are with e-apps. So, are there any trainings in place that can ease the transition?
Yeah, there is. So, two different ways to access some simple trainings is there is going to be a training tab here for all of your agents. If it's not there today, I can ensure that it's there by tomorrow morning. And there's going to be bite-sized 1 to 2 minute long videos giving you a step-by-step guide on, hey, here's how to go from start to finish on the application. So that will live within your instance of Firelight. And as well, I will provide this to the staff at NFI Solutions as well, is we do have these embeddable videos, simple tutorials and guides, the same ones that will live within your Firelight instance. We can also make available for you to add to your website or add to an email and have a very quick send. It's Hexure Advisor how-tos. And this is both for the new user interface and for the older user interface. Great question.
Awesome. Another question was, how do you add paper docs to the Firelight applications?
Very great question. So what I'm going to do here, and I did miss this during my first walkthrough on that North American app. So I'm going to pull open a new one, and up in the top right hand corner of the screen, you have this other actions drop down menu. And within here, you have a couple different options. You can print as a PDF. Say if you've filled out every piece of the application, you can print as a PDF and uh, get wet signatures even. If you're going to sit down with the client, you can still submit this electronically, and you can upload it via this documents tab right here. So any other document type as well, a green card, a proof of age, if you have a quote to attach to it, a signed application paperwork, if there's an illustration, other as well. Whatever you do need to add to the application, use this other actions dropdown and select documents.
Awesome. The last question before we move on to the next subject is, how do I check if I made mistakes?
That's a very good one as well. So the fields that I'm showing here that are highlighted in red, that's a very clear, obvious indication of information that's missing, not necessarily a mistake. And the way that the carriers design these workflows is if you are giving a piece of data that is not going to be accepted by the carrier, that will be sent back in NIGOD, uh, it's it's going to let you know, even if the format is wrong. In my test environment, I'm able to enter the wrong NPN, for example, maybe something that is not valid. And typically it's going to tell you there's going to be this red triangle to let you know, hey, there's a mistake or there's missing information. So these red triangles are not only for information that is completely missing, but also for something that is materially incorrect. And a second layer to that is your case management team at NFI Solutions are going to have a chance to look it over top to bottom, ensuring that everything checks out before it does get sent to the carrier. In worst case scenario, in that case, if the case management team at NFI sees that something needs to be changed before it gets sent to the carrier, the worst case scenario is we'll have to recollect signatures.
Awesome, thank you.
Yep.
Alrighty. Those were all the questions that came in for the user interface system that we have now. You can go ahead and move on into the next.
Okay. So pretty simple to show this for myself. Is a very quick toggle. It's not going to live in everybody's environment, but right here, so you can see is the home page of the new user interface. Very similar functionality as what I just showed. There's not going to be any revolutionary new things that you can do. It is really for visual design and ease of use. Starting in the top right hand corner, you have this new activities button, which also lives here on the left. So we have two navigation menus, one on the left and one in the top right. Your preferences button is now this icon. If you hover over it, it lets you know that's my preferences. If I select that, this is a visual difference, is instead of it all living on one page, you do have this secondary tab for agent info, where you can enter in your NPN and CRD. This is pretty straightforward. You can have a default jurisdiction. Now going back to the home page. Your recent activity does take up now more of the screen. It's a little bit more visually appealing. And two options to get to the application or needs determination is on the left navigation bar or in the top right if I hit new activity and then application. This is going to be very similar. Now there is a few differences within the application. This selection of the carriers and the products is going to be very, very similar. Now I'm going to select the same product that I had before. Go next. We'll go here. Okay. Now, biggest difference within the application, as you guys are going to see, is that drop down, which shows the segments of the application, is now going to be pinned on the right hand of your screen. You can remove it to give yourself more of a view, but by default, it's going to be showing at all times. And your More Actions button is going to live right here. And we've actually taken that Documents button and added it as an easier to view singular button right here, Attach Documents. Same functionality, same document type options, just a little bit cleaner look and view. Right here is the same, the activity name the same. And here's another piece is the next page lives right in the middle, and then you can always open up this left-hand navigation bar and go back to your home page. So I know that lived in the top right corner beforehand. Everything else is going to be straightforward and very, very similar to the older interface, just a little bit more intuitive and easier to use on your first go around. Okay. Also, the All Activities button now is living within this Activities tab on the left. All of your recent activity is here. There's no additional pages. This will just scroll down for 15 to 20 apps. But if you wanted to see the full bird's eye view, like I showed before, this is also new. So just a little bit more intuitive looking, a little bit cleaner. Same optional buttons, making a copy, delete activity. There's going to be multiple pages down here. And if you did want to filter by a specific product type or when was the last update, you could even look up activity name if you remember the client that you were writing the application on, the issue state. You can sort by activity name, product name, last update. Just a nice, and that lives right here, this gear button in between start new and search. And if you found one, you're like, oh, that's an old app. It's outdated and I've got new information on it. But I do know that looking at this older activity reminded me that I need to go back in and start a new app. The client's ready. They told me to wait 3 months. They wanted to push it out. Well, now I'm ready to start a new one. There's that start new button. And that's another way where like the make a copy is pretty helpful. Okay. I know that was a pretty quick tour. Any questions on the new user interface?
Yeah. One of the questions that I got was what had influenced the push for a new user interface? Were there issues that you had come up with often with the older one?
Good question. So this is something that we've been developing behind the scenes at Hexure for the last 2.5 years. We officially announced it last year around Q2, Q3. Now, since then, many people have tested it, and there's a lot of firms, even some carriers, that are on this new look and feel. It's on a different code base as well. it runs a little bit faster. And just to be frank, I think that the blue background was just a little bit, I think it could have used some visual updates. And that's where we didn't want to change the functionality or the way that Firelight works in general. We just wanted to give people a more modern look and feel of their application process. Good question.
Awesome. Does that mean that there's also newer training videos for this user interface as well?
Yep, that's right. And on that link that I was showing earlier, uh, for your guys' reference, if we have this blue or black background on the training video, it means it is for the new user interface. I believe there is 9 total videos or 8 total videos. And if it has this gray background, it is for the interface that you guys are on right now. Yeah, good question.
Okay.
And that same deal with the training videos that live within each agent's Firelight is we can turn off, turn on certain videos. We can make it so it's just showing the old UI training and just showing the new UI.
Awesome. Well, that's all of the questions that I had for you. Is there any last statement you'd like to make?
Um, I did reserve some time here towards the end just to show maybe some new things that are coming. I did get word this morning, even on this call, that our demo environment for a new product that we're releasing called the Universal Quoter, which will allow you to go from quote to submit on both annuities and life insurance. Uh, there's a couple things that we're working out in the demo environment. I think I can at least show it. Let me see. I'm gonna open this up on a different tab here. Okay. Now, this is our demo environment, CityCrest Financial. And I'll just show you, this is something that is coming brand new soon, something that maybe you guys could look into having access to towards the end of the year. I'll be in touch with NFI, with the leadership at NFI, just to see maybe what the timeline looks on this, but I'll show you guys very quickly. This is another reason why we've went to a new user interface is the tools that we're coming out with are going to be built around a new modern look and feel. And we want it to feel like it belongs. So here's the quoting for the annuities. As it sits right now, we have fixed annuities, multi-year guaranteed, and fixed indexed. And on the life side, as you can see here, pretty in-depth. I can show you guys the results very quickly for at least the term. And we also have GUL's return of premium. And in this other category, we're adding various carriers in the whole life and final expense. You can see here, 38 carriers selected. We don't have full drop ticket and EAP capabilities for all 38, but I want to say the number is close to 20 carriers that you can do a full drop ticket on the term side. Let me see here, get results here. 10-year, 20-year, 30-year. You can sort by annual premium. You can enter in multiple face amounts. You can go back to the quote, say, oh, show me another 250,000. If I wanted to compare, Pacific Life and John Hancock, I could do a comparison here. So I'm just kind of speeding through this. I could spend a whole hour just going through all the details on this, but just wanted to give you guys a sneak peek since we're on for the full hour today of what are some of the more exciting things that I've been in the weeds on from a Hexure standpoint, from a product development, from new tools and new features. So don't want to go too far into the weeds on it, but or overwhelm anyone. But this is some more exciting things that are coming to Hexure.
Yeah, that's great. I think our agents would really love that feature.
Mm-hmm. And here's showing that training tab. That this is how it's going to look. When you open that training tab, it'll open up a new. There you go. So that's the experience. I'll make sure that all agents have that deployed in your guys' instance. Okay, very nice. Any follow-up questions from that? I can field some.
That looks like all that we have for today. So thank you very much, Mitchell. All of this was extremely helpful, and I would definitely love to get more information from you about that new feature. And we'll see what it will look like from NFI's timeline. So, for all of you agents looking today, I think one of the biggest takeaways from today is that in a lot of delays, it's not coming from the product, it's the process. And if you're using Firelight system, this is definitely one of the better ways to speed up that process and make it all easier. So, if you're still using paper apps, you should definitely consider switching to e-apps. If you're not currently using Firelight to its full potential, you should definitely give NFI a call or watch more of our videos and the training sessions offered by Firelight to understand the system a bit better. So that's everything that we have for you today. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us, and thank you, Mitchell. We appreciate your time and hope you found this valuable.
Fantastic. Thank you for inviting me, and hope you have a great rest of your day.